He'd taken an almost gloating satisfaction in her failure. She hadn't been prepared for that. So, here she was, 3 weeks after the opening of Jess's Inn, kneeling in her grandmother's garden, yanking out weeds and letting the warmth of the sun soak into her bare and protectively sunscreened shoulders. For the first time in months, the tension that knotted there had finally eased. She searched for the right word, then realized it was content. She felt content with herself, even with her life, despite the current upheaval. She couldn't recall the last time she'd felt that way. Oblivious for now to all the warnings about sun damage and Marty's constant and annoying admonitions about ruining her pale-as-Irish cream complexion, she turned her face up to the sun and felt it ease the headache that came whenever she thought about the life she'd left behind. Even as the thought surfaced, her hands stilled and she gasped slightly. Had she left it behind? All of it? Chicago? The theater? The writing? Marty? Had she really left it forever? Could she uproot herself from the world that had meant everything just a few short months ago? Was that what she was doing here, on her knees in the dirt, days after she was supposed to return to the life she'd always dreamed of? Was she giving up? Hiding out? Or merely licking her wounds before going back into the battle zone once again? And that's what it was, Bree realized, a battle zone, with way too many potential enemies, the producer, the director, the actors, the critics, and the public, all of whom had their own views on what her work was or ought to be. Some days everything came together in an amazing collaboration. At other times, it was a highly charged emotional war with all of her carefully crafted words, scenes, and motivations picked apart by those who thought they knew best. She sat back and heaved a sigh. Oh, how she wished she had an answer to any of those questions. "You've pulled up 3 of my summer phlox," Graham said, a clucking note of disapproval in her voice as she interrupted Bree's dark thoughts. "Do you want to tell me what's on your mind before you ruin the perennial garden I've spent years cultivating?" Bree looked from her grandmother, hands on hips, petite and feisty in her straw gardening hat, sneakers and bright pink cropped pants and matching blouse, to the tall, dark purple phlox already wilting amid the weeds she'd tossed aside to her left. At the sight of the flowers, she groaned. "I got the roots. I'll put them back in the ground with some extra water and fertilizer. They'll be okay, Graham." Graham gave her a penetrating look that suggested she knew exactly what was going on with Bree, but was waiting for her to bring up the subject. "Can you say the same for yourself?" Graham asked. "Will you be okay?" Bree deliberately looked away and turned her attention to replanting the phlox. "I have a lot on my mind," she murmured, afraid that she would confirm Graham's suspicions if she said more. Of everyone in the family, only her grandmother seemed to truly understand her, to see inside her heart even when Bree was silent. To her father and even to her outgoing siblings, she was mostly an enigma. "Your distraction's plain enough," Graham agreed. "What you need is to share some of it. Make the burden a wee bit lighter. If you don't want to tell me whatever's on your mind, go over to the inn and have lunch with Jess or call Abby. She'd be happy to take you to lunch in Baltimore, I'm sure. She can show off that new office of hers. You can have a nice heart-to-heart chat." Jess has her hands full. She doesn't have time to listen to me moan and groan. The same with Abby. Now that she and Trace are engaged, and she's commuting to Baltimore practically every day, she has little enough time for herself and the twins without wasting it on me. "Nonsense! Either one of them would make the time because they're your sisters," Graham said impatiently. "With the O'Briens, family comes first. We stick together no matter what. Didn't I teach you that years ago?" She'd certainly tried, Bree recalled. It had been a hard lesson to learn after their mother had taken off for New York, fed up with their father's endless round of business trips and his neglect of their family.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.